What's going on, everybody? It's Ron Brown, LMT, and this is a New Yorker's perspective. I have T. Wilson. Are we calling you that right now, or Clip? What do
Clip.
we call
That's my
Clip?
nickname. You know what I mean? So
We're gonna call you Clip. Clip is the name. So Clip is here to help me out with the music segment because he's musically inclined. If you could break down your history with music so that people could get to understand. Before you break down music, I would like to say it's a Harlem thing right now. That's all
all
I.
day, all day, all
It's a
day,
Harlem
forever,
thing right now. We got
forever.
Colonial in the house and Grant Projects in the
Yeah,
house.
you already know, right?
Right off the back, I gotta let it be
Off the
known.
bat. All
Harlem
right,
in the
so
building.
I'm basically me. I'm Clip. I'm basically the sound man to a lot of your favorite producers on the low. I provide them with a lot of sounds to make a lot of classic hip hop records, to make a lot of My right hand man is Marvino Beats, as you know. He produced for Alicia Keys, Jadakiss, Fab, Troy Ave, Joel Ortiz, Jim Jones, Max B, Wale, a bunch of people.
Right.
We also work with Sean C and LV. They produced the whole American Gangster album for Jay Z, and they working on right now. They're working on a new Dead Prez album and some new stuff for Jasmine Sullivan. So I'm the guy they call when they need some sounds.
Okay, can you go into detail with that?
Sounds.
Yes, sir.
All right, so sounds for like music equipment. So if they like, okay, I need these type of horns or I need this type of drum set or things of that nature, I'm the guy that they call.
Got you, got you. So, and can you explain, break down names you've worked with?
Me, I work with everybody. I've worked with a few people: Jim Jones, Loaded Lux, Davies. Just a few people, just to name a few.
Just to name a few.
Been around, I've been
Harlem.
around. It's a Harlem thing though, so
It's a Harlem thing. Harlem thing. All right.
yeah.
All right, cool. So now you're the person they call when they need some sounds. And today we're gonna go into the music segment. And let's just go off top. What would be your favorite kind of music, if you will?
My favorite
Genre.
kind of music. My
Your
favorite,
favorite.
well, my favorite kind of music is always going to be hip hop because
All right.
it's just what it is. For me, I'm a hip hop baby, so that's my favorite kind of hip hop. That in the era of New Jack Swing, Teddy Riley,
Teddy
that era,
Riley. All right, so let's talk about before we go into that real quick. Let's go into Teddy Riley. Why did you say New Jack Swing? New Jack Swing has been gone for years now, pretty much.
But the sound is still immaculate. Like we've seen people recreate his sound, and and you know still shoot to the top of the charts. Hence Bruno Mars' last album. That was a whole Teddy Riley sound.
I didn't realize. You know what? To come to think of it, you might be right. Now I got to analyze that right there. All right. Now, would they know that is New Jack Swing, or they just
If you start, if those who know that that whole 24 Karat album was basically a New Jack Swing album. You
mm,
know what I'm saying? Like you just got to really sit there and analyze it and listen to the drum breaks, listen to the styles, the swing of the records,
mhm.
and you'll hear Teddy Riley's influence all over it.
So
Actually,
what's
you'll hear Teddy Riley's influence on everybody from Timberland to Pharrell. You'll hear it because as you know, the history of Teddy Riley, he had a studio in Virginia in the 90s. So all of them came up under his wing in that studio down there. So when a lot of these super major producers that we hear are making these hit records, a lot of it has Teddy Riley's imprint on it.
so Teddy Riley had a studio in Virginia, and he took Timberland and all those artists under his wing at a point, and that's
Yeah.
where they learned from Teddy Riley.
So like if you really don't know a little bit of history, so remember Rump Shaker, right?
Yeah,
All right, so with Rump
Pharrell,
Shaker,
Pharrell.
Pharrell wrote the verse to Rump Shaker.
Right.
He's also the voice on SSWW, the V. That's Pharrell saying that,
Wow.
and right here and all of that.
Wow.
Like if you listen to it, like we didn't know it back in those in the 90s, but when you listen to it now, you can really hear his voice, and you're like, oh, that's Pharrell the whole time.
Wow.
And we all know that Pharrell and Timberland, they basically like relatives,
For
and
sure.
they went to the same school, studios, and all of that together. So
Yeah.
you got a whole crew of people that really came up under Teddy Riley. Bink, Knots, all of them was in Teddy Riley's studio. They all Virginia kids, so they all was there. Making their names known for themselves. And now they spread out all over the music industry, but it's rooted in Teddy Riley.
Now the New Jack Swing sound has a lot of if you explain the drums, what's the sound of the drums in New Jack?
It's a triplet swing, so it's kind of hard to explain. It's almost like a shuffle, like a waltz, almost, but it's sped up, with a little bit of jazz chords and a little riffs in it. But sometimes he used synthesizers. A lot of times he used a lot of pianos. But if you listen to the swing of it, it's a Harlem thing, really. It's really like a Harlem swing that stems like from the Renaissance. If you really break down the history of music, it stems from our culture. But we just did it in a hip hop. He did it in a hip hop way that changed the world.
Right. So now you said it's like a waltz, like a swing. If when Bruno Mars comes to mind, the song I forgot the name of the song, but it's like feels so good to be us. We got it going on. Feels so. That sounds like New Jack Swing right there.
New Jack Swing. When I first heard it, the first thing I thought of was In Living Color intro.
Right.
With Heavy D.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right? So
yeah, it does.
For those of us that know, that's the first thing I heard. When I heard, I'm like, this reminds me of the Heavy D and Living Color intro.
Right.
With singing on it. I'm like, oh, this is some Teddy Riley type of New Jack Swing flow, but it's just more modern for today's era.
Right. Now, who made that beat? Would you know?
I don't know who made that one. It might be Eddie F. I gotta check.
I haven't heard that name in a minute, bro.
It might have been Eddie F at that time. Eddie F or Tony Dofat. One of those two, probably around that time. I know Teddy was working with Teddy, Pete Rock, Eddie F, and yeah, Tony Dofat, Eddie F, Pete Rock, and Teddy Riley was basically Heavy D's main producers at that time.
All right. So no, what I mean is, sorry, the Bruno Mars song.
Bruno Mars, him and his I forgot the name of the name of the producers off the top of my head, but him and his crew, they produced that. Okay. Because we all know Bruno Mars is a musician as well, so he doesn't just sing; he plays instruments as well.
Right. Exactly. So, New Jack Swing. So let's take it back. Rewind. New Jack Swing came out in 1988, 1987.
It got popular in about 87, but it was around since I say probably about 86. 86.
And Teddy Riley is from don't tell me. Teddy Riley is from like right there, 127th, 128th.
Yeah, St. Nick.
St. Nick.
From St. Nick Projects. Yeah, Nick, so
exactly. I got it. I just forgot the name like real quick. So he's from St. Nick. Do you know of Teddy Riley's background any?
He was all right. So his background, from what I know of him, he was basically around what's the name of the group? Ashford and Simpson. Solid as a Rock. Like he was trained by them.
Wow.
On the piano. So he was playing keys back then at like 8, 9, 10. He produced the show, right?
Produced the show. What show?
The song with Dougie Fresh, Slick Rick, Dougie. That's him.
Oh.
He was like 14.
No, come on, bro.
Yeah. So he did the show. They said supposedly he ghost produced It Takes Two as well.
That makes sense though when you think about it. Like the sound, it makes sense. Now that sound, where does that sound actually come from? Like it maybe he just thought of it, or just his musical.
Thought of it, but the elements come from a lot of jazz and 70s soul. A lot of jazz, and we know, us from Harlem, it's a big, heavy jazz culture here,
right?
That doesn't get talked about enough, but we're rooted in jazz music here,
Right. Speaking of which, like, so you mean we're rooted in jazz, meaning like during the Harlem Renaissance era and after.
Harlem Renaissance till now. Even like you go to somebody, you go to some nice spots, Red Rooster, you know, you'll still see some people in there playing jazz music. We don't realize it because it's just a normal everyday thing.
Right.
For us, it's just the everyday thing. But remember, everybody had to come to Apollo to make their rounds. They had to come here to get known. So we had a lot of musicians here in Harlem at one point in time. So
Right.
to make it happen.
Let's break down artists from Harlem. Let's break that down. Would you can you
Right,
go back?
so
Can you take us back to Harlem Renaissance or no?
yeah, well, a lot of them they weren't from here. A lot of them moved here. They migrated here
Yeah.
from musicians. So you had Satchmo, which is Louis Armstrong. You had Dizzy Gillespie, who used to be out here.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? You had Duke Ellington.
Yes, sir.
You know, you know what I'm saying? Like we had you had what's her name?
I know what you're talking about.
Lena Horne used to be out here.
Billie Holiday.
Billie Holiday, Ellis Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
Like we had a bunch of people here that was from everywhere because back then all the blacks was migrating from the south up here.
Right.
So this was the big melting pot at the time. Even Quincy Jones was out here. You know what I'm saying? Like he from Chicago, but he was out here too. You get what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of people were out here making their rounds, getting the name known because you had to come here because this was one of the major hubs for black music. In those days, it was us, it was Harlem, Chicago, and L.A. and the Bay Area, Oakland, San Francisco. A lot of people don't know about that, but that was the culture. And then in the South they had basically the what's the not the juke joints.
Yeah, juke joints. Yeah, yeah.
So
where they would,
the culture of music is the culture of music, especially in Harlem, is rooted in jazz. It's rooted in blues, and well, not blues, but it's rooted in jazz.
Jazz, yeah. So now after the Harlem Renaissance era, what came after that? Would you know?
After the Renaissance lasted for a while, and then the 70s era came, and then a lot of 70s music that we loved wasn't Harlem rooted. So a lot of that was Philly.
Curtis Mayfield,
Chicago, the Philly sound. Harlem started coming back into the fold late 70s, 80s with Kashif. A lot of people don't know Kashif is from Harlem. Teddy Riley started making his rounds.
So explain Kashif real quick. My bad.
All right, so Kashif was from the group Brass Construction.
Okay.
Right, and Kash, you've heard his songs throughout your entire life on radio. You just don't realize who his name is, but you know his songs.
Okay.
Stone Cold Love, Stone Cold Loving with you. Okay. He was like really into 80s R&B synth, like all them heavy synths in that era. And he wrote a lot of records for a lot of people
back in them days too.
Yeah.
All right.
And then you had, Kumo D, Treacherous 3.
Treacherous 3 is from Harlem? I thought they were from
Harlem. Yeah. Fearless 4 from Harlem.
Okay.
No, Tito from Fearless 4 is from Harlem. Tito's from Grant. You know what I'm saying? Rob Bass is from Lincoln Projects.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
but Rob Bass had a Brooklyn connection?
Yeah, but he's literally from Lincoln. So who else? We got a lot of people. Our culture is crazy when it comes to music. We influenced and brought out a lot of people. Mace, Mace, Cameron, Big L. A lot of people don't know Mace is the reason behind Nelly being like getting signed and everything. Cam wrote a bunch of records for Little Kim's biggest record of her career.
I didn't know that.
He wrote, you see me on the radio. Trill, you heard me on that's Cam. That's Cam's pen.
Wow. Oh, yo, I need my bomb.
You know what I'm saying? Damn. So brothers, like they did, it's a lot. You know what I mean? Like we Harlem, even in the modern day, we got ASAP Rocky, who's married the second biggest star on the female star on the planet. He from Harlem, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Like our culture is here to stay, and it's going to always be here because it's just who we are as Harlemites. You know, it's just
Right.
our town breeds excellence, but it breeds it in a different way than everywhere else. And that's not a knock to nobody else, you know, because I
Not
love
enough.
everyone else, but it's a culture in Harlem that's like it's still there, even though they're trying to remove it from us with all this gentrification, but it's still there. You just gotta see it for what it is. Remember, Malcolm X got his name known here.
Right. Exactly. So like, and then the law school is right there, and then Mosque number 7 is right there.
The mosque, the
You know why?
guards,
Right. You know
all
why?
came from here. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
we love Wu-Tang. We loved them from New York. We loved them, but they whole lingo and slang came from here.
Right. From Harlem. Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
For sure, for sure. Now let's talk about Harlem a little bit. Then we could go back into the music. I mean, it's all intertwined.
yeah,
It's
it's all
all
intertwined with music. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Now, the culture of Harlem, I can't explain it, right? Um, I'm a Harlem. I'm a Harlem dude. Like, I don't know if you ever look at my Facebook posts and the type of
Yeah.
person that I am. Like, I don't want to say I'm pro-black because I'm neither pro-black nor anti-white. However, I am. I'm about my people. That's for sure. And I think Harlem like ingrained that into me.
Ingrained
Growing
that
up.
into us all, from our generation and previously, I think we were ingrained with that. Like they taught us that in school. Like when I talk to other people about Harlem and about our schools growing up in elementary, all I can remember is a whole bunch of black stuff going on. They was teaching us nothing but black history, like throughout the entire year. It wasn't like, oh, we got Black History Month. No, we got this all year round.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and then when we stepped outside, all we saw was black people.
That's it. That's
You
it.
go to 2 Fifth, we saw every type of Christians, Muslims, Jamaicans. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? The 5%ers, the Moors. We saw all of that on one strip.
Right. For
And
sure.
like we didn't realize it as kids because it was just an everyday thing for us. But then we start traveling and going to other places and we tell them how we came up. They're like, oh, that's totally different. Think about our street names. Most of our street names these days is named after our black heroes.
Right. Yeah. For sure. For sure. For sure.
I think we're the only neighborhood in America that has all like majority of our street names. We know them as Lennox and Ave and this and that. But if you
Yeah.
look look on the streets and look under those names,
Right.
it's some black Adam Clayton Powell, Malcolm X.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We got a Harriet Tubman statue in our hood. You know what I'm saying? Like when we think about it, it's like, yo, it's the culture of blackness is here.
Right. Right. Right.
They called us the Mecca for a reason.
For sure. For sure. So now, not only that, what else is it about Harlem that I don't know, like gives it this vibe? I mean, the culture. What else? Like, I don't know. I just can't explain it. Can you?
It's hard to explain because you had to grow up here and live it to
You
really
gotta grow up
understand
in
it. Like
you gotta grow up in Harlem to
you
understand.
had to do like our culture is just like
Willie Burgers.
our
Remember that?
culture's our culture is almost like all right, we from different parts of Harlem, but we all, um, we all like family. Hold on real fast.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, man. Definitely for sure. Harlem for life, baby. Yeah, so he's from Grant and I'm from Colonial. I mean, Grant is on 130
25th,
25th, 25th,
oh,
125th. I actually went to IS 195. That wasn't too far
right
from
at the hill,
yeah.
right next 33. You was right there.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And then so you're from 125th, I'm from 159. But
It's all the same thing, bro.
it's all really the same thing though.
It's all the same
But
thing. You
yo,
right colonial. You at colonial. Polo
yeah,
Grounds is right here. Rucker Park is right here. So your whole neighborhood in that era,
yeah.
rooftop was right there. So
Rooftop was
you know
right
what I'm
there.
saying? Your whole neighborhood is a whole history lesson in itself. Just off of that little section right there of Harlem is a whole.
Just
You had
yo,
the best. You saw the best basketball players on the planet come right here.
the best
You know,
basketball players, and also not so positive things happening over there too.
Yeah, we ain't gonna talk about that because I mean we already know that story when they all talk about that. Like I don't really
Yeah,
like to get into
they
that
run
because
that in the ground.
we understand what that was about for that era of survival. We get it, but that's one part of Harlem.
Yeah,
The
for sure.
culture that we know it, but the culture of Harlem that we love so much is all the other stuff.
Exactly. Is a more positive historical, things that happen that you know, pretty much etched black history in stone, pretty much. You know, so
Exactly.
so um so just like you said, you can't really explain it. You gotta grow up there,
You
man.
had to grow up here to understand it.
Gotta grow up there, man.
And none of us was rich. None of us was rich. We made the best of whatever we had out here. And it was fun.
That's the thing about it, man. We didn't have to have a whole lot of money. I didn't even know we were broke.
Because we all live the same. That's why I don't understand today's music when the culture, when everybody's constantly putting each other down. But it's like, yo, we all came up as black people. None of us was rich.
Right.
So now that you get rich, it's okay for you to down talk your people that come from this environment.
Yeah.
Something about that is backwards.
Well, I think it comes from just like hip hop culture in general, that part, like just the battling part. So
Yeah,
like
but okay, yeah, but it was battling about who's the better rapper, right?
yeah,
That's what it started in. Like,
right.
who's the better rapper, not who's the richer person.
Nah, but they would get on your clothes. I
Yeah,
got
we would clown you, we would bag you.
yeah.
Like, how many friends we had, we clown jokes on, but we were still hugging shit and show love. So clowning you was one thing. We had jokes. We all crack jokes. That's our culture. We snap on each other, especially up here, Harlem. We snap on each other.
Yeah, all
But
day.
we ain't, it was never about putting someone down to that level where they beneath you on that level. Not in the music. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
not in our music. Like, if we really want to get technical, the first popular solo rapper is from Harlem.
The first popular solo rapper.
Solo rapper,
You mean Dougie Fresh?
Curtis
Nope.
Blow.
Curtis Blow, yo. Damn.
And he's the man behind a lot of records that were remade in today's era that people don't know that they remade them. That was his records.
Which ones?
So the most popular one that you hear is "Stay Scheming,"
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
That's daydreaming.
daydreaming, right?
Takes me where I want to be. That's Curtis Blow.
Wow.
If I ruled the world,
Yeah, of course. Of course.
you know what I'm saying? Like, this is our culture. Like, come on.
But let's go into, since we're here still in Harlem, Curtis Blow. His last name Blow. Now, a lot of these artists back in those days had Blow Ski because of the usage
The
of
era.
the era. Yeah, yeah. Just in case. I mean, people got to know the history of those names.
Yeah,
Ski,
the cool rock
Blow,
skis and all of that. Yeah,
yeah,
all that was in relation
cocaine
to
usage.
cocaine.
Yeah, yeah, and all of that. So now that we're in Harlem music, let's go to where were we? We were in the 80s, right? Let's take
Mm-hmm.
it up. Let's take it up to Linux. Let's go to Linux with Big L. Let's go to
Danger Zone, 139.
right. Now he only
Some say he's the greatest. Some say he's the greatest rapper to come from Harlem. I humbly disagree, but I get it.
I mean, but like lyrically, who's really better than Big L?
Lyrically, if we want to go lyrically, you can say he's
Oh,
probably the best, right? He's
ah,
not my favorite, but I rest in peace to Big L. I will never knock him. He's not my personal favorite, but he's up there.
I
He's
know my Harlem people might kill me on this one, but I think Mace is better
I'm sorry. That's how I feel. I agree with you. That's how I feel.
lyrically.
I tell people this all the time. Most people who's from Harlem, as much as the world be trying to knock Mace, a lot of us love Mace. Like, for us, he was that guy. Like,
Right.
he was the epitome of what a Harlem dude was. Fly, flashy,
And had good
all
words.
about the females, and having some money in his pocket. All that other drama, y'all can keep all that. We over here trying to have some fun.
Right.
That's really what the Harlem culture was. Then you had the other, Cam and them came with the drug talk and all that, and that's cool. Nothing against him. We loved it. But I think the epitome of an everyday Harlem dude was Mace.
Right. What about Her McGrath though?
That was my guy too. That was my guy. I feel like he didn't get the shine he was supposed to get, but he was crazy with it. He was very underrated.
I feel like Mace kind of like took his lane a little bit.
Took a little bit of his style with it, yeah.
Yeah.
But they was all a crew, so at one point in time they was all like crew with it. So
wait, so hold on. So Her McGrath, was he down with it sound like when I think back and I think about the sound and I think about the look, maybe he was influenced by Diddy?
No, I think Diddy was influenced by us because Diddy be screaming Harlem, but he from Mount Vernon. He lived in Mount Vernon. Let's keep it a buck, right? Not to take nothing away from Puff, because Puff that guy. But your mom's, you was born in Harlem. Your pops is from Harlem.
Yeah.
But you lived in Mount Vernon. And it's nothing against Mount Vernon because I got a lot of people in Mount Vernon that I got a lot of love for. But you got that swag from us here in Harlem. Like, it's just what it is. You came, like, Diddy was always here. So it's you ain't had no choice but to get the swag from here. I found out a lot of things too. I found out that Chris Brown was here at one point in time before he got popular. He was living up here.
Yeah, I think
he got a lot of swag from us up here too. Lil Wayne, he didn't get popular till he got his swag from us up here. He was cool. He was the wobbly guy down there. And that's nothing against him. He was doing his thing with them. But when he started rapping and they was talking about he was one of the best, nicest rappers, is when he started rocking with Dipset.
Gilly might disagree. Gilly might say that came from him.
Gilly was writing, but the swag, that aura, that came from Harlem.
And you know what? That came around 2006,
2007. And Dipset was on fire at that time. So it was like, you know what I mean? A lot of dudes got they swag. Hip hop was about getting fly, but dudes wasn't getting fly until
Dipset.
Harlem Boys kicked down the doors, B.
That's a fact. Well, come on. Y'all can't lie about that. Don't lie about that, viewers. You know, I didn't start seeing skinny jeans until Jim Jones started rocking them joints.
And those were True Religions back then.
Right.
Those were True Religions in 05.
Right.
All the other dudes and everywhere else that started getting them, they started hopping on them like 2010. Like, a lot of people don't realize that we was doing that uptown way before y'all. Like, they was laughing. Skinny jeans, this and that. Nah, we rocking True Religions. You don't even realize at this time these jeans cost $350.
Right. Exactly.
We changed the whole look of hip hop. Everything was baggy, and we was like, nah, we about to fit this up. It looked like skinny jeans for the era because everybody thinks it was so baggy, but we slimmed it up and got a little fit for it and was like, all right, we're gonna do this. And then the whole world started copying. Then they went too far with the skinny. It was like, I got too skinny now. Like, nah, keep it fitted.
So would you say today's current style is because of Harlem?
Yeah, it was influenced by us.
Yeah,
it's a fact.
For sure.
It's a stone cold fact.
Now check this out. So now we got so Big L. We went to Big L. We said our personal favorite between Big L and Mace would be Mace. Mace lyrically, for me, would be better than Big L. Big L, he did have like the double entendres and all the classic MC styles and all that. However, Mace took it. He could get on a song with Big L, and then after that, he could write a song for the ladies.
Yeah, he could hop on a record with Mariah Carey, and do a record with DMX, and it would still fit in pocket. He was versatile. Versus where I feel like Big L tried to do it, but it didn't come off as good as when Mace did it.
Right, but this is why I say Her McGrath. I mean, Mace kind of took Her McGrath lane because Her McGrath did that song with
Monifa,
and that was one of his big hits. And He had. I think what kind of clothes was that? I think he had like a Versace shirt on or something
He had
like
the
that.
Versace shirt on with the lint, with the shit, with the glasses. He was
Right.
killing him in that video. Shout out
Hat
to
and all
McGrath.
that.
McGrath was doing his thing in that video. Be like, and his album, and McGrath album was tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
For us, that I think, but you know what it was, because he's from here, we got a chance to hear it first before everybody else. So it was like it was like a local thing.
Right.
So for us, we related to McGrath more so than the rest of the world, and that's cool. But I just wish, honestly, I wish Gruff would have signed with Dipset in that era, because I felt like he'd have got a little bit more shine.
Well, but Dipset wasn't really Dipset at that time.
No, because at that time, Big L was still alive.
Mm-hmm.
Gruff had the deal. Gruff was signed with Heavy D in Uptown.
Right. Well,
right?
that's why I say Diddy, he might have gotten all that dress from Diddy and all of that.
But you got to remember, Diddy got it from the hustlers out here.
Well, yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Gruff might have got a little bit of the swag from him, but it was still a Harlem thing. So it was like, all right, I can step outside and see the same thing.
Right. But rappers at that time weren't really dressing like that on camera, you know what I'm saying? Except for people coming from that Uptown label.
Keyword.
Yeah.
Uptown.
Yeah. Andre Harrell.
And then, in that era, Uptown meant what? Coming to Harlem. You ain't going away. Uptown.
Yeah.
Think about it. The man who created the Uptown logo is D Ferg. ASAP Ferg's father. He's from Harlem.
ASAP Ferg created that Uptown logo?
ASAP Ferg's father.
Right.
D Ferg drew the Uptown logo, and he created the Bad Boy logo.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that, bro.
It all comes back to Harlem.
So what happened? And then he did some time or whatever, right?
Maybe and then I think Ferg died too. So his father's no longer here. God bless. You know what I mean? Rest in peace. Condolences and everything. Yeah. But yeah, the history is, Ferg is the one that came up with all of that.
Wow.
And then you see his son is popping.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With his own thing going on, doing his own thing. Like,
what is that style of music Ferg does, though?
Ferg, you know what it is? Ferg and them, you gotta remember, Ferg and them came up in an era where the South was popping. So a lot of their influence came from the South and the Midwest, because they was into Bone Thugs and Harmony and Little John and all this other stuff in Texas music. That's what they was into as kids. Yeah. Remember, when we was kids, it was still New York City hard body.
Right.
When they was kids, it was the culture was shifting from New York to all these other places.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So for them, I can't be mad at the music that they make. I get it. You weren't here for this era that we came from. So the generation gap is, we liked what we liked. We grew up what we loved. We grew up with a sense of New York City pride, like no other. Like, we from New York. Like, we don't care what you talking about. And a lot of regions hated that because we wasn't giving nobody no shine if you wasn't from New York at one point in time. Yeah. ASAP and them, they grew up when MTV was already smoking hot. We grew up when MTV was getting hot in our culture.
Right. We watched Video Music Box.
Yeah, that was our era. Video Music Box was our MTV. Right. Public Access was our thing. Yeah. They grew up with MTV was out of here. MTV Jams, they had all of that. Yeah. We had it, but we grew up on your MTV Raps.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So they started getting that bounce music, that kind of flow. So what do you feel about Dave? First of all, where's Dave East from? I want to know.
He's from 110th in the East Side. He's from First Ave.
I don't know what's up with Dave. I don't know why I can't get with his. I can't get with it. I just don't know what it is.
Because for him, he does this at times. I think a lot of people say that too, but I love East. East my guy. You know what I mean? Cool dude, tall as hell. Cool, very cool dude, very humble dude. When you meet him in person, he's a real cool dude, like front and back. Nothing but love for these. And nothing but love for anybody from Harlem, period. But East, I think there's East has traveled in so many places, so he's cooled a lot of dudes out of town. He's always in LA. He's in these places, so he tries to include all that in his raps when he's rapping.
Mm.
But the older generation, we don't really get it right away because it's like, what are you rapping about? Why you don't sound like you from here? You sound like you from everywhere else but here. But then but he got hot for being like a rapper that sounded like. When he first popped off, he sounded like he was from here. He signed to Nas, got his money up, but then he started going to places, hanging with Nipsey and all these other people. You know what I'm saying? And then his flow started to change,
Mm.
and he was rapping for other regions.
Got you.
He wasn't limiting himself to New York. So when we listen to him as a New York, we want to hear a New York rapper. We want to hear you sound like a New Yorker.
Right.
You don't sound like a New Yorker. Our generation tends to be a little turned off a little bit. Like,
I think it's also his beat picking though.
Some of that too. And me and Marv, my bro Marv, we worked with East. You know what I'm saying? We worked with East before he was popping. So we knew he was up next. But and East works with a couple of my homies now. The beats that he's working with now, he's working with a few people that my man A-List and a few other people, Buddha and Grands, and you know what I'm saying. So I want him to have more of a East Coast raw hip hop vibe. For me personally, I would love him, Vado, and Nino Man, all three Harlem dudes. I want them three to be a group. Me personally, I want them to be like a new version of the Locks because I think they can do it.
That would be dope. That would be dope.
That would
be, man. Man, I know we're kind of like going all over the place a little bit. It's cool. But it's like every time it's like you mention certain things, it just like things pop in my mind. Vado. Yo, I don't know what happened with him and Cam.
Well, I don't know what happened, whatever. A little nonsense.
Politics and all that, personal.
Yeah, politics and all that. But he just dropped a new record with Mary J. Blige. It's kind of tough. So salute to Vado for that, because record is kind of tough and he's doing his thing. He got a nice little video out here on the yacht, barring it up. Mary J. Blige doing the hook and all of that. So the record is kind of tough. I can't even front on him. It's kind of tough.
But yo, with them boss of all bosses,
all bosses mixtapes are so crazy, so crazy. So don't get me wrong, Vado, he been doing some things, but it ain't been like that.
Nah, bro. Yo.
He was going crazy on them bosses for bosses.
Yo, that's what I'm like. Yo, what happened with that? How did y'all met? Like
Vado was getting high, and I guess as a young artist, you want to be hotter than what you are. You want to be bigger than what you are, and I don't think he felt like Cam was giving him more push than he needed. And it was like, nah, you got to just keep grinding. It's gonna come. You can't jump the gun. Yeah. Cam got you bubbling in the streets, crazy. You was about to be the next Jewels, but out of here. But then, I guess whatever politics happened, business happened, and Vado wanted out of his contract or whatever. And Cam, Cam ain't the type to hold nobody. So Cam like, all right, well, do your thing. Then Vado signed to DJ Khaled.
Why would you do that, bro?
Don't get me wrong. Khaled is the man. Don't get me wrong. Khaled is the man. But I don't know, Khaled. I don't know if you understand how Harlem works.
That's what it is. That's just what it is. That's like, I mean, Vado just made pardon me, Vado, man, but I feel like you just made a terrible choice at that point. Terrible. That was a bad business move right there, brother. And hey, man, God bless.
I love Vado. I love Vado. Vado used to be in Grant with my man Maine, you know what I mean? But that's my guy. I like Vado. I like Vado. I like Nino Man too. Nino Man he be barring stuff up with Jadakiss.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Nino Man be tearing shit down. So I can't hate on them. I can't hate on none of them. You know what I'm saying? Like
no. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hating. I always wanted to say this to Vado. If I would have ever meet Vado ever in my life, I would say, damn, bro. Damn. That Cam blend right there.
Bosses ever was so crazy. It was so crazy.
I used to play that joint over and over and over
Me
and over.
too. Crazy. And him and Cam put out that Guns and Butter album.
Yeah.
A lot of people forget, but that album was tough. It was tough. Like I love all of the Harlem dudes. What's my man name? Mino, Hot Ones.
Mino, that. That's the joint.
You know what I'm saying? Grease. Shout out to Grease. You know what I mean? Shout out to all of them dudes. I love them all, man. They from the town, man. So for me, they can't do no wrong in my eyes when it comes to the rest of the world. For me, they from Harlem. I don't care. Right. I'm biased. I'm sorry. I don't care. I don't care if nobody liked them. I like them.
I'm gonna admit it. I ain't gonna lie. Me too. Now check this out. So now Davies, boom. What about? Let's talk about how Jim Jones stepped up his game lyrically over the years.
Yeah, you know the funny thing about Jim though, he stepped it up lyrically, but I like his older music better. When he was rushing his words and trying to figure out the flow. I don't know what it is about that. I think it was a little bit more raw.
It was raw.
So for me, I like the rawness of it when he was just reckless with the bars. Like he was reckless trying to figure it out. He's way better as an MC now. Way better. Like,
yeah.
Can't even, there's no denying it. And he dropped a project last week. Just so you know, he dropped the Bird Gang Volume 2. Members of Bird Gang Volume 2. He just dropped that last week.
Oh, that's why Shooter posted that, I think.
Yeah. So he just dropped that last week. Shout out to Jim. You know what I mean? We worked with Jim on his Capo album and a few of his Vampire Life mixtapes. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jim. But Jim, he definitely stepped it up. There's no denying that. He definitely got way better as an MC.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like when he was rapping. Mike Tyson punched Miss Green in the face. I like when he was doing all of that type of stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Come home with me. Zone with me.
Wait, what was that verse he said? Like we covered like pork chops.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum from my thoughts, Ak.
I like that Jim. Don't get me like when he was saying wild crazy, like, huh? That's the Jim that I like. I mean, he was crazy with it.
Yeah. I remember, trust me. Now, so we went Jim Jones. What you think about the drill Harlem music now? Hill.
Okay. Here's the thing about drill music. It's the 2020s gangster rap, right? That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
It's new for us because we don't really get it, like as far as the sound of it. It's like it's repetitive to us, right? So we're like, yo, what is this? This is really repetitive, and then we're trained to listen to rap in a certain way. Mm-hmm. So we listen to rap. Bar, line, bar, line, punchline, bar, line, punchline, bar. They don't rap like that. They rapping on some beef. It's beef with them. Like that's what drill music is. It's beef.
Right.
Y'all dudes are suckers. Y'all punks. We sliding on y'all. We taking your girl. This is what it is. You got a problem with it, do something about it. That's their nature. That's how they write the rhymes. Right. They're not writing it from I'm trying to be nice on a lyrical perspective. Once you remove that from it, we can get to a better understanding of how to digest the music. Right. And granted, I don't like I don't like all of the violence that comes from the music in real life. I don't like that part of it. Right? Because it's these kids they on a dummy mission these days. But then I understand why they're on a dummy mission because look where you live at, right? Mm-hmm. It's ridiculously expensive out here to survive. So these kids is doing whatever they got to do to get it, which means they scamming, they hustling whatever they can hustle. You know what I'm saying? And then remember, they beef is on the internet, so everybody's recording everything. So nobody's trying to get embarrassed out here. So it's no more knuckle game. Nah, you're not going to embarrass me because if I lose this fight, I'm going to get blasted all over the internet for losing this fight. So I'm not taking no prisoners.
That makes sense.
Don't come over here. Don't come over here because one of y'all they rather die than be exposed on camera.
I ain't gonna lie, man. I understand that though. I ain't gonna lie,
It
bro.
sounds crazy, right? But when you think about it, that's their mentality. Their mentality is remember they grew up in a world where all they know is the internet.
But you got to think about it. Would you want to be smacked on camera? I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either. That's what I'm saying. Like, think about it. When a boxer, a professional fighter loses in the ring, the internet go crazy on them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is a professional fighter. They're gonna take losses. They're gonna take wins and losses. They take a loss. The internet is unforgiving. They clown you forever on the internet. You
Right.
can't even get into a bad relationship with a girl no more.
Yeah.
The internet is on fire on you.
Right, right, right.
Right?
Yeah.
You get punched in your face. The only retaliation these days is war, because nobody wants to be embarrassed in today's media, because you can't just get into a fight, take a loss, be a man, and be like, all right, cool. Back in the day, you could get into a fight, you lost, all right, cool. Only people that saw it was those that was there.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
Now they'll break down and rewind you. They'll rewind you getting punched in your face. They'll zoom in. They'll add music. They'll do all types of clips to it. They'll go crazy on you. I understand these young boys is like, no, no, no. I'm backing out on you. Don't get away from me.
Right.
You're not going to make me an embarrassment.
Right. But now let's go to drill music. Even though which like a lot of the drill rappers who are popular come from Sugar Hill and Harlem. Now,
Yes,
now for me personally, some of the best drill artists come out of the Bronx, and I'm gonna
they
name
do.
Dougie, no, not Dougie, not Dougie B. Dougie B is alright. He's alright. He's alright. He's not as dope as B Love and what's his name? Use
They fly.
G's and K Flock. K
But you know
Flock.
the funny thing about drill rap in real talk, the biggest drill rap is a female right now.
Who's that?
Ice Spice.
She's considered a drill rapper?
She's a drill rapper.
Wow.
See, she's a drill rapper, right? Listen to the music she's rapping on.
Yeah.
She's doing it she's not rapping about toting guns. I'm a female. She's rapping drill music in a female perspective.
Got you. Got you.
Listen to the cadence. Everything that she's doing is drill music. It's just I did it in a female way where she's not even rapping about beating chicks up. Think about it. She's not rapping about violating chicks. None of that. All she's rapping about is bagging niggas and sliding. I'm gonna bag you, get my bread, and keep it moving.
Right. Well, that's like the mentality of the kids nowadays.
Exactly. So her mentality is, I'm a fly chick. I got a fat ass. Y'all niggas is thirsty. You gonna give me your bread, but I got my own bread, and I'm gonna keep it moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all of her records is drill beats. And all the girls of her era finally found something that they can gravitate to in New York.
Right. Now, as far as females, now we're going into the females. We spoke about Ice Spice. What other females you like?
I like Lola. I like Lola Brooke. I like Scarlett.
Of course.
I like Scarlett. Scarlett remind me of a female DMX. I like that. Give me that grimy hood energy. I don't know how long you're gonna last with it, but push it to the limit as long as you can.
Yeah.
I like her. Me personally, I really don't care for Sexy Red and all that. It does nothing for me. I get what they're trying to do, but I just feel like you taking it way too far, love. Like, you're not. It's not even like really like.
It's not.
It ain't really skill what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything talented. You just like. You just rapping about sex, but you're not doing it it's not a skillful way. You just rapping about being a slut.
Right, because I listened to Little Kim's whole album like a couple weeks ago. The first album, Hardcore. Bro, she's talking about some crazy stuff, but it's lyrically it's
It still has some skill to it. Yeah, we can
yeah.
hear the content. The content is cool. Like, all right, I get it. You know, the content is going to be raunchy, but at least have some skill with it. Some sort of technical skill that makes it enjoyable. If you just rap about being a slut, any girl could pick up the microphone and do that.
And they're doing that though. Because I think there's like a
I call it stripper rap.
yeah, that's coming out a lot now. A
Yeah,
lot of
I'm,
strip.
I'm just waiting for the young girls. I'm waiting for the young conscious girls to get a little shine or break through if they can.
Like who?
Just all right. My favorite young female rapper is No Name, right?
No Name.
No Name. She's from Chicago, but No Name to me is insane, right? She reminds me of a Rhapsody, Lauryn Hill. She doesn't sing or nothing like that, but her consciousness is like really, really, like really there. Like she's not going. I'm not stripping for you. I'm not taking off my clothes. I'm not demeaning myself. But I'm going to tell you about what life is going on out here, and this shit is real. And I love that. I love that about Rhapsody. We can be women, and we can be sexy, and we can be attractive without having to do all this extra shit y'all chicks is doing.
Mm.
We need a balance. I don't mind if you give me some of this little stripper music as long as I got a balance of this other stuff. I think that's the problem with the of what we hear nowadays on mainstream is we don't hear the balance. It doesn't mean that you know what I'm saying. It doesn't mean that the music is whack. It's yo, I don't want to hear this same message every song. I want to hear something else. When we was growing up, we had Mace and them giving us party records. We had DMX giving us the super car street records. We had Tribe Called Quest and Common and Talib Kweli and all of them giving us this type of music.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we had a mixture of what we wanted to hear. We had options. Like, okay, I could go to this right here if I'm in this vibe. But if I want to be, it's like it's like your workout. So when you're in the gym, y'all want to hear this type of music on my workout flow. But when I leave the gym, I really don't want to hear this.
Exactly. Exactly. Which now that's changed because I don't really want to hear anything now because I'm kind of disgusted with everything.
I'm gonna send you some music that I know you're gonna love because some artists that I know you're gonna love because I know that we're at the age where we want to hear a little bit more conscious rap.
Yeah.
We want to hear something with a message
Feeling
behind it.
no more like that, man. I'm done with that, man. Killing and shooting and I'm kind of done with that music, really. You know.
Yeah, and I listen. And here's the thing: I understand. I listen to it still because I listen to music, but I like my favorite rappers are conscious rappers.
Okay. Can you
Always have been.
can you name something that's out right now?
For me, all right. So Sky Zoo, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Sky Zoo has a project called "In the Mind of a Saint." I don't know if you heard it, but he rapped a whole album about the TV show Snowfall from the mind of Franklin Saint.
Wow.
So he's telling you about the drug game. He's telling you about everything that's going on. But in the midst of him rapping about all of this, he's talking about the pitfalls and the stuff that comes with this lifestyle and how it doesn't end well for none of us. So yeah, we can talk about drugs and killing and this and that, but I'm gonna tell it to you in a way that make you look at it from a deeper perspective. Like, yeah, I'm only reason why I chose to sell drugs because I seen my mother and father struggle in this world trying to do it the right way. But I'm going to tell you the pitfalls of it. Sky Zoo has a really good project. Kendrick Lamar's last album was really good. If you pay attention, those who are paying attention and listening, J. Cole is giving a lot of great verses right now, a lot of great conscious verses. Um, Ab Soul dropped a project that was very conscious and very well, um, very good. Jeezy is about to drop a album, two albums this Friday.
Hmm.
Um, if you pay attention to Young Jeezy, he's becoming a conscious rapper.
What?
He's
All right.
telling you, yeah, I used to sell drugs. I know this life, but this is not the life for me. You get what I'm saying? Like he's letting you know I moved on. I've elevated myself from this life, to be a boss in other things. Like I don't have to go back and forth with y'all about this street shit. So he's becoming a conscious rapper. He has no choice but to become a conscious rapper. You're in your 40s, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't be this guy all day. You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
Nas, as we all know, Nas has always been conscious.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? AZ is about to drop his album. Who else? As far as the young dudes, JID, Jid. I don't know if you listen to JID.
Let me put this down. JID.
JID is very, very conscious and very, very dope. And he reminds me of a young Andre 3000 with his creativity. What's my man name? Not Vic Mensa, right? Vic Mensa from Chicago.
Right.
He just dropped an album that is insane. Conscious tip, insane. He's there's a lot of dudes putting out quality music, but the mainstream is just force feeding us the bullshit.
Right, right.